Hello, my name is Glenn MacArthur, and this is The Real Truth. Today, we will be exploring me, your host, and I wish to introduce myself to those who are listening. I like to think of myself as political. I like to think of myself as a lover of aircraft, all aircraft. I like to. I like. I've spent 45 years as a contractor working on aircraft and other things. Excuse me, bit of a cold. I like to think of myself as a person who is a bit of an independent when it comes to politics. I will vote for a I will vote in some cases for Republican and or independent if I can find it. I'm not too thrilled about the Democrats or the way they present themselves. And I am and I and I'm all for this country. We need to maintain our discipline and our forefront. We need to maintain the Constitution. We need to maintain the those things which give us our rights. We need to understand that there are certain things that the government cannot do that other parties have said they must do. We also need to understand that we also have a voice and we also need to project that voice. We have a new media, as you can see here, the media of YouTube and of podcasts that we should hold sacred as possibly a new venture that is just in its burgeoning days. We should not try to slander it. We should not try to make light of it, but we should always work with it. Now, um, I like um, I like this country, and I like what it stands for. We have always tried to maintain the peace, yet we've had to deal with the world. The world is a messy place. It's fraught with all kinds of dangers and opinions that may or may not be good for the world. Like, number one, other countries have said that we want to rule the world or we want to say what the world does. That may be fine for the Democrats who feel that they need to push our laws onto other countries that incite wars, by the way, that you seem to not want to clean up. And when you do create wars, you tend to walk away with your hands in the air, like Taylor's war in Afghanistan. Thank you very much for inciting 9/11. Yet all of a sudden, oh, really? Now you want to throw open the borders and come on in. No, that's my dime. That's our dime, not your dime. You should be billed for it. We need to understand there needs to be a responsibility in this country. Oh, my father, he used to preach that to me morning, noon, night. Glenn, you're being irresponsible. Glenn, you're being irresponsible. Glenn, you're being irresponsible. And I used to get smacked with a belt from time to time for being irresponsible, but I never understood what the heck that was all about. Not until I finally went hunting with him. And he handed me his gun and he says, just remember, this part of the barrel kills. So point it out there, up there, anywhere, but at anything that you don't want to shoot. And I said, okay, Dad. And I shot a squirrel, and the responsibility started descending on me. I learned, hey, it kills. And that's a power that I want to be careful with. He said, yeah, I think we need to put you into gun safety. So at the grand old age of 10, I went to gun safety under NRA. I learned, don't pick up a gun unless you want to use a gun. And don't point a gun at anybody unless you want to really, unless they're threatening you with your very life, with another gun or a deadly weapon. I learned responsibility the hard way. Then the military taught me responsibility. One of the greatest teachers was General Curtis LeMay, when he said, "Guess what, folks? Peace is our profession, and guess what? We got the bombs to do it." All of a sudden, SAC never dropped a nuclear weapon anywhere. Period. Peace was our profession. And I respected that. And I respect that I'm listening to my country rip itself apart with Trump said this, and he promotes this, and he promotes that, and he's for white supremacy and all this stuff. White supremacy, folks, is it's not a call to arms. White supremacy is basically an ideology. Any more than black supremacy is an ideology. Yeah, we're slurping it up. We can't wait to get enough of it. We're slurping it up. But guess what? When it comes to white supremacy, oh, no, we can't do that. Well, let me tell you something. I grew up. My dad, he made a big mistake, and he took a job down there in Huntsville, Alabama. And I learned what white supremacy is all about. And let me tell you something. I didn't follow it then, and I don't follow it now. And I was ostracized being a Yankee and all this happy crap. It was like there was two stores, just like in that movie that show Deadly Games. Two stores, two parties. You got the white supremacists and you got the socialist idiots. I got beat up a lot for that, all because JFK said we need to be a kinder, gentler nation. We ended up being a mess. It tore us apart, and now we're being torn up again. I had to live through Barack Obama for 8 years, and I watched him, and I watched you Democrats blow it down the street. And I just wrote a few letters, made a few telephone calls, but I never did anything. But now, you people, hello, you shoot half of frickin' Congress? You turn around and say, "Oh my God, there's a we're all a bunch of haters and this, that, and the other." No, we're not haters. You're the hater. You can't even put up with somebody with a different point of view talking to your kids in a goddamn forum in a college, for God's sake. Where's your First Amendment? Where is it? You don't cherish it at all. So let me just put it to you this way. My full philosophy is this. I intend to be like Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. And that is, I'm going to be nice until it's time not to be nice. And if you can't stand it, there's the door. Yeah, there's the door. No problem. I have a right to my opinion. You have a right to your opinion. And if you can't stand that, well, then my advice is you better wear earplugs, because you got 6 more years of this coming up. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care. Now you know who I am. Now you know how I feel. Now you know what I'm into. There you go. Oh, now stats. Well, I was a contractor, and the life of a contractor moves around the country a lot. You maybe spend 3 weeks up to 2 years on a contract, and you move to the next contract, and you don't worry about unemployment, because you know the next contract is going to pay more than the first one did, or at least the same. So hey, you can enjoy the scenery, see the country, and it's a great way to enjoy life. And most of all, I don't have to sit there in front of the TV wondering when the heck I'm going to be hearing from the political elite. I like it, and it's a little hard on interactions romantically. And it gives you a chance to evaluate yourself, to look at yourself, and understand there's a great, vast majority of people out there with different points of view. Frankly, when it comes to religion, I think all religions are good because they pay homage to God, unless you're dealing with witchcraft, or if you're dealing with Satanism, then it's a different animal. But I like to praise God. I mean, praising somebody who doesn't praise him is kind of anticlimactic and self-deprecating. It doesn't work. um, we're all God's children in this adventure on planet Earth, and we should all enjoy God's creations. And nobody should have power over anybody in that fact. History's History is itself self-fulfilling. And when it comes to God, instead of looking back, I prefer to look forward, a lot like Danigan, wondering, where did we come from? How are we here? What are we doing? That God may have been corporeal at one time, where he may have been walking with us. He may have been over 1,000 years old, maybe 10,000 years old. We do know from history the Anunnaki were over 15,000 years old. So, you know, until the flood changed everything. And then there's I will not go into Jesus Christ, Muhammad, or Moses, or any of that other stuff, because basically that was their time frame. I am looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to keeping God here, yeah, over here, and here. And I'm not willing to subscribe to any one thing. We all know that there are certain virtues that God believes in. He believes in peace, or else he wouldn't have given us the Ten Commandments, and he wouldn't have given us a code of Hammurabi. He wouldn't have given us um, um, the rules of Mohammedanism or Islam. He wouldn't have done that, or he wouldn't have even given us Buddha with his ideas of um, of peace and tranquility and enlightenment. Truthfully, we need to draw a line in the sand here, a line in the sand between religion and politics, and we need to say we're not crossing that line. We need to say we have a politician there who is doing his job, even though we don't like him. We need to understand what his plans are. We need to listen, but we don't need to be saying, "Hey, I want someone else there." It's too late. You made your bed, you got to go lie in it, like I did with Obama. But I'm not going to pull any punches here. We need to be smarter about how we do things, and that's basically my advice to everybody out there. Self-analyzation is a good idea. Take an hour, look at yourself in the mirror, ask yourself, really? These are good questions. Even go for a drive for 4 hours. Like me, like my father used to take us for a drive up and down California, out there to Las Vegas on the weekend, and going all over to go fishing or whatever. And we used to sit in the car and you know watch the world go by and wonder about things. That was a good thing. Now, this is Glenn MacArthur, and I just want to say that this the end of this session of the absolute truth, and I'll hopefully I'll catch up to you on some more topics that you might be interested in. I'm losing my voice, so goodbye.